Good evening, Mr. Razvan. As the saying goes, long time no see. So we are seeing you after a very long time. How is your health now?
You're talking to me as if you are my school teacher, by the way. Well, my health is perfect. Once I told my boss I am 99% all right. He called his car and told him, leave Saab in his house till he is 100% all right. So I am 100% all right while I am speaking to you.
Okay, very nice to hear that. I will not take too much of your time now. We heard you were very nostalgically worked up about when Mr. Sushil Pandit spoke about community living in Kashmir, and he gave an example of Mr. B.K. Ganju who was
Yeah,
shot in the rice drum.
sad.
So, could you tell us something about that incident and what is the reason for the Pandits to stay away because of that?
Yes, I won't be able to tell you. Sushil Pandit is much better person in all respects. He is a scholar by profession also. I have been a government servant, Government of India servant for 35 years, 33 years. So I yield my everything to him and to his knowledge and scholarly attributes. Now, one of the finest ways of proving a point is to speak in terms of case studies. I have done management, almost post-graduation in management from Ministry of Defence for a very long time in time scale of the Ministry of Defence. I was class 1 officer when I did it. So case studies are one of the best ways of proving or disproving a point. The issue is that in 1990, all these things have happened, tragic things. B.K. Gunju could have been my cousin, he could have been my younger brother, he could have been my elder brother. He is not the monopoly of any particular Pandit or any particular Patloo Pandit. Thanks, this time you didn't call me Patloo Pandit, you should have done that. I speak as Patloo Pandit now, so that my Pandit identity is identified, of which I am very, very proud. Though my pride has not been proved, because I was not shot so far by anybody. I am very young still at 85, so I hope I will not be for the remaining. It will be no use for anybody who shoots me now, except symbolic. The point is, I'll give you a case study of a day after 1965 war, which we unequivocally won against Pakistan. I had taken about 11 children of my extended family to Dal Lake because they all insisted, Baijan has come, he will take us for a boat ride. Sometimes in Dal Lake, so I took my vehicle, I drove it personally, took all 11 children in that big vehicle that I had and parked it somewhere around Nehru Park, ahead of Nehru Park, on the left side of the road. And a boatman came and said, he will take us. I told him, look, I want to show them the lake for about 1 hour. We fixed up the rates. And when we sat down, 11 children from the age of, I would say about 6, 7 to about 15, 16, 17. I remember the eldest was a boy who was about, can I say about 15 years old. His name was Khanda. Yeah, he should have been 15 then. So, and then the youngest was, shall I say, 3 or 3, 6, about 4, 5 years old. And they belong to several families in terms of cousins, nephew, nieces. I don't think any neighbor was, but there were 11 of them. And we were still approaching Kotar Khan, and wind started blowing. And we could see black clouds coming on the sky. And within seconds, the lake was in great storm. The boat started toppling left and right. Having flown several times in a Dakota aircraft from Srinagar to Jammu, it used to top because the aircraft Dakota had very little capacity. It would take about 20 passengers. Even then it will not go above about 11,000 feet of height. It didn't have the capacity to go beyond 12,000 in any case. So turbulence in the sky used to topple the aircraft also. Similar thing happened to this boat. And children started, without ceasing, they started crying, रोने लगे, वादुन होतुक. And sorry, I myself kept cool, tried to keep cool. Boatman got up. He could not handle anything. That's called in Kashmiri, that the thing that rose, it is called chapa. With chapa, he was trying to control the boat, didn't work. Anyway, he took that chapa and hit the poles of the boat and threw it out, these poles out, the roof, which consists of in India grass and all, which provides resistance to the air and therefore enables the boat to topple. Because when the air pressure is there, it resists it, and then he enabled the boat to float to some extent, but almost gave up. He raised both his hands, "Oh, Khudayo, Khudayo." I was standing, all the children were crying. Believe me, as a gentle person, as a Kashmiri Pandit with respect, I was not married. I got married in early 69. So none of them was mine. But children were of my brother, nephews, nieces, vagara, vagara. Some of them are, if I am not mistaken, very highly placed now. So I saw when the boatman was crying, he was shouting. I told him, "You drive towards that settlement. There appears to be some So he started doing, managing with chapa again, dhakka de raha tha. But every time God seemed to be helping us to float. And he helped the boat to float. By the time we saw two Vavanao, it is called a small boat, and it has no roof. It almost floats on the water. Even the water that enters the boat, it can be taken out easily with chapas. In Kashmiri, it's called Vavanao. And they were racing. And their mother was talking in Kashmiri from that hamlet there. "Hayo, jaljal gistavu, jaljal gistavu." And she was beating her breast. We could see her. Okay, you can verify that piece of land. But next time in Srinagar, I would definitely go and see whether that land. Anyway, to cut the long story short, these two boatmen, I would say, transferred us in two boats, 5 and 6 each. Boatman also came. And believe me or not, he left his boat there only, in the hands of God. So, came and we went to this piece of land. There were only 5, 6 houses there, we could see that. They all the Muslim girls, women, 2 or 3 men came down and took us to their room in the first floor. And they brought blankets. I think it was around September, these days only. Today is 1st September probably. So there was kahwa, chai, some sachwe, very common sachwe, garam karke, kangre, because all the children were shivering, and so on and so forth. And then she started asking, "To kaiti shiv kya shiv?" Mind you, I am talking of 1965, around September. And sorry, not 65, 66. 65 September was a ladai chal rahi thi. It was around 66. So anyway, partly conclude this story. They gave us lot of this. They gave us a thermos with them. They had a thermos. बच्चों को चाय रास्ते में पिला रहे हैं, तेरे खसान. And if you ask me which was my happiest day in life was this. My saddest day was when the corrupt engineers, I have been an engineer myself, when the corrupt engineers of Kashmir had not checked the strength of a bridge at Dodarhama. In April 1955, the bridge collapsed, taking away the life of my father. He was 48 years. He was a forester that time in forest department. And his eldest daughter, married to Mr. M.K. Razdan, his daughter's daughter is married to M.K. Razdan. Then I'm talking about Mrs. M.K. Razan, who was in PTI, you must be knowing it.
Yes.
And so that is my eldest sister. I don't know whether you can catch up there. But anyway, if you don't, it doesn't matter. Can you see my sister there? Oh, don't disturb that.
Just adjust the camera a little bit.
Oh,
Now we can see.
Oh, that good.
Now we can see
Oh.
your parents also.
All right, good.
On the screen.
Good, good.
Yes.
Now let's carry on with the interview.
Okay.
So my father was martyr. I would call him a martyr in a way. Martyr is a person who dies for the country. He didn't die for country. I don't know what if I died for. But I don't want to use any other word. So what happened? What happened? She lost her life of 6 hours after she heard that father was no more. She was so smiling. Smiling, you know what is Malun?
Yes.
Your father's mother's house is Malun after your marriage. So she was there and we lost her also. I remember corruption now in Kashmir, India, world. Now corruption has become almost regularized unofficially. So having done this, and we came home. I told you it was my happiest day of my life because 11 children, youngest 6, were just saved by Kashmiri Muslims, whose successors probably shot Mr. Ganju in rice drum. When a Kashmiri Pandit, knowledgeable, intelligent, saleable in the sense media listens to him, the owner of the Republic channel calls him every time. Also, he helped me release my book, Trauma of Kashmir. I'm talking about Arnav Goswami. But he never dared call me on his channel because perhaps he thought that I will not speak a spoken word. I'll just speak my word. So, apart from that, so this was Kashmiri Muslim in 66. And Kashmiri Muslim had the freedom to go anywhere in 1946-47. He chose to be with me. Instead, I'll tell you, I interviewed Sayyid Ali Shah Jilani sometimes in 1997. I interviewed in his house for about an hour and a half for the book authored by me and released by Chief Justice of India and Mr. Rajesh Pilot together. So there, Jilani Sahab asked me, suppose there is plebiscite here, where will you go? I said, you must ask me if the plebiscite is there. You didn't tell me who will win. He says, no, if Pakistan wins. I said, of course. I would like to go honorably tell you that I'm going to India. Like you would like to go to perhaps Pakistan. He didn't reply that. I mean, this is on record. I think if you Google The Trauma of Kashmir by Omkar Razdan, The Untold Reality, you will find it in today also. So, concluding my question to all the Kashmiri Pandits who are remembering the torture, inhuman behavior exhibited by Kashmiri Muslims per se from 1990, 91, 92, 93 and so on to some extent now after changing narratives and methods and so many that which has been talked about a lot. So before another 2 generations of Kashmiris are lost, today a person who was born in 90 will be how old? He will be about 34, 35 years old. A born in 2000 will be 25 years old, very old people. England had a Prime Minister, William Pitt was Prime Minister at 24. There was a talk in between when this computer media came in being that people might be retired at 40 and we have started approaching that. Most of the CEOs are below 50 these days. So before that happened, and Kashmir is permanently lost psychologically, physically, in all respects, we must talk about the ancestors of the present youth whom we have nearly lost. I think Sushil Pandit or some other speaker, I think maybe Mr. Raina from, I think, Punch or Rajouri, was on the social media talking very nice story about Kashmir's history after it was sold by Sikhs to Dogras, I should say. And so we must, before that happens, before the present generation, which is 36-year-old, has only seen bullets from 90 onwards. They have seen nothing else. I met once a young girl. She very annoyingly told me, how old was she then? She was about 23. He said, Uncle, yeah, my ambition is, I want to kill one or two people of Indian army. I said, why do you want to do that? You are, as Mom Sahib had said, तुम खाना खा रहे हो हिंदुस्तान का, literally. So she had only seen India with a bullet in his hand. She didn't go into the who is enabling India to do it. Why my father is not saying the same thing about India? Why my father doesn't say I want to kill Indian army? Or his uncle doesn't say it. This aspect in a family, till about 10 years ago, there was division within Kashmiri Muslim families. The grandfather didn't agree and father didn't agree with his son and daughter. They told them stories, great stories of Kashmiri Pandits. Every time I went to Kashmir as a regular visitor after 1995, regularly, everyone, I would bleed and pay rent of about 500 to 600 rupees a day, but must go and spend a month or two there. That's what I used to do from my meager pension. So the idea is, why government of India is hesitant? They have never ordered an inquiry. And I can tell you in concluding this, they started in 1st January 90. Ya Giliv, Ya Seliv, Natareliv. The slogan started from 1st of January onwards. In October, I have read a poster written in Urdu, 4 times the size of a B4 paper, or maybe 6 times the size of, advising Kashmiri Pandits to finish all their social obligations, particularly the marriages and mekhals, before 31st December 89, after their safety is not guaranteed by us. What was the government doing at that time? I am talking of government of India, which went to war, several wars with Pakistan. They had no love for Kashmiri Pandits. What love they had Kashmir? They enabled. You know, I'm not going to that part. I'm only telling you the aspect that a learned person like Sushil Pandit, he must have the courage to talk about these things. He must have the courage to say that in 1947, the Dogra army was fighting in POK. They were fighting in Uri. They were fighting in Baramulla. There was not a cycle in Srinagar. Sam Ganju, who belonged to Srinagar, his father could have been bulleted without any accountability. We are seeking accountability of people who were killed in broad daylight, visibly. Why is not this accountability sought? Several people, several journalists, several speakers on YouTube have covered it. There were not even telltale marks, there were clear knowledge that people from various Muslim organizations like Barelvis, like Devbandis, or whoever it was. I am not an expert on Islam, but I have been staying in Kashmir for the last 10 years in community living. I don't want to say anything so that I wouldn't like to be the next person at the age of 85, as I told you, to be killed in a drum, but I am sure I would like them to shoot me from behind. If they want, I will tell them in advance. I am not as brave as our Mahavir Chakras, Veer Chakras, or soldiers are who die for us. So I suppose I have covered your question. My only point to Sushil Pandit is, don't demonize Kashmiri Muslims. There are some forces that were acting in Kashmir to convert them. Like from Central Asia, people came to convert us into Islam 700 years ago. That is why today we are told our ancestors, Hindus' ancestors were all Muslims, were all Hindus.